School of Freeware's Word 2007 tutorials. Tutorial 1, Getting Started. We're creating these tutorials to help people find a job and to increase the job security of those who have employment. By knowing Office, you can become a better teacher, employee, or student. There's a 60-day free trial of Office available at Microsoft's website. If you're learning Office to help you find a job, you can do so without spending any money. You can also use these tutorials to study for the Microsoft Office Specialist and the Microsoft Certified Application Specialist exams. Some colleges and universities grant college credits for passing these exams, so please check with your school. This is Word 2007. As you can see, the user interface is very different than what we are accustomed to seeing with the other Word programs. The most notable change is that the traditional menu system has been replaced by this tabbed menu system here. Let's start in the upper left-hand corner. The circle with the Office logo in the center is the Office button. Inside is where we'll find commands like New, Open, Save, and Print. Just to the right of the Office button is the Quick Access toolbar. The toolbar holds commands that are frequently used and can be customized to meet your needs. Simply click on the little arrow next to the toolbar and you can add or remove commands. There are also more commands to choose from, so you can have a full range of your frequently used commands. Also, you can add commands by simply right mouse clicking on the command within the ribbon menu and then clicking on Add to the Quick Access toolbar. I'll right mouse click now and select Remove from Quick Access toolbar, and the toolbar now is set back to the state it was when we first started this program. Below the Quick Access toolbar is the ribbon menu tabs. The ribbon menu tabs are a combination of the menu and toolbar systems that previous versions of Word used. Some icons have a drop-down list indicated by a down arrow. When the down arrow is pressed, more commands, settings, and options are available to the user. In addition to the drop-down list, there are scroll arrows. Here in Styles, here is an example of a scroll arrow. Below the scroll arrows is an example of a button called More. When I click on More, we have more settings pop up. Now, what you see here in the ribbon menu tabs is not every command at this point. If I were to click on this picture here, I get the picture tools and the format for the picture tools pops up. If I were to click on this graphic here, the drawing tools, and when I click on format, I get the drawing tools settings for this particular object. If I were to click off of this object and back on the page, that particular tab disappears. Because all commands cannot fit in the ribbon, some sections have a box with an arrow in it. This box is really a button. When I click on the button, a dialog box appears and I have all the settings for the particular category. In this case, it is the font dialog box. I'll cancel this. Unfortunately, it seems that Microsoft wanted to hide its help, and you'll find help in this little area over to the far right top corner when I click on the question mark. The help dialog window should appear, and inside I can browse different help categories and settings. Below the ribbon menu tab is this little line here, and if I click on hold the little line, it almost looks like a dash. It's more of a dash than a line, but it's a split. And I can turn the screen into a split screen. So here we have page 1, and down here I can scroll to, let's say, page 3. There's page 3. So here's page 3, and here's page 1 that I can work with. or page 2. So this way I can view multiple areas of the document at the same time using a split screen. And I'll click and hold and move this all the way back up to the top. So I am now back on one page. Below the split screen is View Ruler. When I click on View Ruler, the rulers both come here for the top and side rulers. When I click on the button again, the rulers disappear. When the rulers are in hide mode, I can simply bring them back by positioning the mouse over where the rulers are. Moving on, below the scroll bar, I have Next Page and Previous Page, which allows me to go quickly between pages. If I would like to change the settings, I'll click on Select Browse Object, and I can change the setting here to Graphic. And now when I click on the two buttons, I can move from one graphic to the other. I'll change it back to Page, and now I can go back and forth between the pages very easily. Next we have Increase Zoom and Decrease Zoom with a slider in between. And this area that displays the percentage of the zoom, if I click on this area, I get the zoom dialog box, which I can change from any of the settings. We can go to Page Width. I can go to Whole Page. I can show many pages. And I can set it back to normal page width, and there we are. Next to the zoom is the page views. Right now we are currently on print layout, and I could change it to full screen reading if I wish. There it is. I'll close this down. We could view it as a website. We can view the page as outline, and we could view the page draft. I'll set it back to print layout, and we'll go back up to page 1. Here we have proofreading, word count, and page 1 of 3 currently that shows the page numbers. If I click on it, we go to Find and Replace dialog box with the Go To tab for easy movement between the pages, or the selection, or the line, or the bookmarks, or the comments, or whatever you happen to have. I'll close this down. There are two more things I would like to show you before this tutorial ends. First is the mini toolbar, and this is actually one of the more obnoxious things within this program. If I were to highlight this text, you see this thing that pops in sort of like a ghost, and this is the mini toolbar. And I can use this to adjust and modify the text. However, you have to have it in just the right place when you are trying to use it, and sometimes it doesn't want to come in at all. The last thing that I would like to show you is the right mouse click. For example, if I simply highlight this text here, right mouse click, one, I get the mini toolbar here in front of me, but also I get all of these nice settings to choose from, and typically the programmers with Microsoft have been very good at putting the most common used settings within the right mouse click. So if you can't figure out how to do something, typically you'll find it someplace within the right mouse click. I'll right mouse click on the picture, I get formatting picture, I get size, I get text wrapping, insert caption, change picture, cut, copy, and paste. If I right mouse click on the graphic, I get formatting the auto shape, order, grouping, and so on. And so it makes it very convenient if you get to know the right mouse click and its settings here, because it makes things a whole lot easier for you.
Welcome. This is the first in a series of Microsoft Excel tutorials. This one is basically an introduction to Excel and maybe a few basic tips. The first thing you'll notice in Excel is it's laid out in columns and rows. Okay, the columns are alphabetic and it goes all the way across. And it'll continue way past Z, but we'll get into that later. And the rows are numeric. Okay? The easy way to remember is that a column, for example on a building, stands up. A row, like in a movie theater, as you're looking across it, is horizontal. Okay? One of the things that people tend to have trouble with in Microsoft Excel, at least in my experience in teaching, is understanding the coordinates. For example, this is E9 and H4 and I13. And an easy way to know where you are is to look over here in this cell. But one of the things that I try to explain to people is that these coordinates aren't really as complicated as you make it. If you've ever played the game Battleship, it's laid out similar to what a spreadsheet is. For example, you have your cruiser here and you say H1. Well, that's column H, row 1. H2, H3, this is C5, D5, E5, and F5, and G5. So it really is that simple. The other thing is that Excel is useful for a variety of things. One, you can do your payroll, you can keep track of scores, you can keep track of things, but I even use it as a simple database. A lot of people hate that. Databases are so much faster, why would you use a spreadsheet? I just really like the interface. It just works really easy for me. So for example, let's say I want to keep track of some scores, and I do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, etc., etc. One of the cool things here is, if I format these, say bold and center, and I want this to continue across, and I can see this little box that appeared down here, I can click that and grab it over, and you see how it says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Well, it's kind of strange to start it with Friday, so I'll just go ahead and start Sunday, Monday, and let's just see if this will work with 2. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, and so you might want to have student 1, student 2. Maybe you have 20 students. 3, 4, 5. I'll just have 5 students for now. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second so I can fill this table in with some just random numbers. Okay, so basically the other thing that I did here is I changed these so that it wasn't Sunday through, Saturday. I changed it to test 1, test 2, and then I just copied across. Then I added some just sample data in here. Now, one of the cool things here is, let's say I want to do a total over here. I just type total, and you'll see that it bold and centered it, knowing that I had all of the other things up here bold and centered. Now I want to do this plus this plus this plus this plus this, obviously. So one way to do this is I can type equal sum parentheses and then C4, you see how it indicates over here, colon I4. And now it's got this whole thing selected, parentheses. Okay, so that student has a total of 626. A quick way to do this, however, if I want to total all of this, is to click this little epsilon button, and it usually selects the right thing. If not, you may have to, tweak it a little bit, and I'll show you that next. Okay, that student has 616. And here's a third way to do this: equal sum parentheses, and then just drag what you want to add, and then in parentheses. So you see there's several ways to do this. I'm going to see, here's an example when the epsilon thing was wrong, and I will choose which area I want. Try it one more time. Okay, so now I have totals for everything here. Now the other thing that you can do pretty quickly here is, if I want to do a total of that column, I can. So I can do total. I can do a total of that column, and I can even drag this over, using what I did before. Click that little box and drag across, and now I have a total for each student for each test. Okay. Now, the next thing is if I wanted something else like average grade. There are different types of averages. Here, we're just going to work with the word average. So I'm going to do equal average and then select all of the scores. Okay. Now, if I just do a copy and a paste, you'll see, if you look at the formula right here, C4, and then I copied it, but now it says D4. That's because it automatically knew that I jumped to the next column. And if I click here and paste again, paste, 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 and paste, you can, in fact, I can paste again. And what it does now is it gives me my average for every one of those columns. All right, so my average score for test 1 was 87. If I want to find out what my high score was, now obviously you can look at it if there's only 5 students, but let's say you have 30 students in 6 classes. I can do max, and I can do equal max. So my high score, that one was 99. Okay. Minimum, so if I want to find my lowest score, I can just do equal min. Okay, so 75. Okay, so basically now I have my average score, my maximum score, and my minimum score. So that's a good start. It gives you an idea of some of the functions that you can do. You know, there are lots of other things you can do, and I'm going to continue with other tutorials. Enjoy.
I can create a PowerPoint presentation complete with text, pictures, and presenter's notes in no time at all. Let me show you how I do it. When I open PowerPoint, I see a single slide displayed to start a presentation. The slide has 2 placeholders for text, indicated by boxes with dotted borders. On the left, on the Slides tab, is a thumbnail image of the slide. To create a title slide for the presentation, I click the placeholder text, which then disappears, and I type my title. I press Enter to start a new line, and then type the second line of my text. I click the second placeholder box, and then type a subtitle, again pressing Enter to start each new line. Notice that the text I've typed in the slide displays in the thumbnail also. That's all I want on the first slide. To add a new slide, I can just go to the Home tab, and in the Slides group, I click here, in the top portion of the New Slide button. Notice that this slide's layout looks different from the first slide. This is the default layout for slides that follow the title slide. It's set up for a title, a bulleted list, or other content such as pictures, charts, and media, which we'll talk about in a moment. I type a title in the title placeholder, and then click in the second placeholder to add text to the first bullet point. I create a bulleted list by pressing Enter at the end of each bullet point. To create a second level bullet, I press Tab before typing the text. Because there are additional things I want to say as I present, I click under the slide where it says Click to add notes, and type my notes there. I can click this split bar and drag it up so I can see more of the notes pane as I type. I can print out these notes and refer to them when I give a presentation. Let's go back to the slide content. Sometimes I want to start with a different layout. Then I click the arrow on the New Slide button to see my choices. Notice that the first slide used the title slide layout, and the second slide used the layout called Title and Content. For the next slide, I click the Content with Caption layout. Here, content means graphics, such as charts, pictures, clip art, and media files. The caption refers to any text you want that explains the content. I enter the title and text in the placeholders. To add a picture, I just click the icon in the middle of the slide that says Insert Picture from File. I find the picture file I want on my computer and click Insert. And there it is. I can resize the picture and keep its size proportional by dragging from the corner. and I can reposition it on the slide. Notice the Picture Tools tab, which appears whenever I click the picture. I can use the tools here to reset the picture to its original size, frame it, or crop it. Now here's a way I can save myself some work when creating slides. I click the Home tab, and then click the arrow on the New Slide button again. At the bottom of the Slide Layout gallery, I click Reuse Slides to add slides I've already created in another presentation. In the Reuse Slides pane, I click the Browse arrow, and then click Browse File to locate the presentation containing the slides I want. PowerPoint displays thumbnails for the slides in the presentation I've selected, and zooms in on the individual slides when I point to them. When I find a slide I want to reuse, I click it to add it to my current presentation. When I'm done, I click the Close button to close the Reuse Slides pane. You'll notice I now have several slides in my presentation. I can easily move from one to another by clicking thumbnails of the slides on the Slides tab. But the slides don't look very interesting. So I click the Design tab to see what I can do about that. In the Themes group, I see that the first thumbnail, labeled Office Theme in the screen tip, is selected. When I point to other thumbnails, I see a preview of how the slide would look using different themes, which are collections of design elements, including background design, color schemes, and font types and sizes. I can scroll through the themes, checking out previews, or display all the themes at once. When I find the one I want to use, I click it. Notice that the selected slide and all the other slides in the show reflect the change. So there you have it. Maximum results with minimum effort. You come up with the content, and PowerPoint does the rest.